But I can remember the exact plot twists that got you riled up in season 2.
Oh boy.
Should never forget.
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
Take us away.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Don't Read Into It. We're your hosts. I'm Becca and this is Larissa. And this week we're mixing things up a little in more ways than one. First, let's introduce our good friend Alexis, who's joining us this week. Say hi, Alexis. Hi. Now, Alexis is our resident expert in all things reality TV. So instead of talking about a normal TV show, we're going to be discussing a reality dating show that I personally loved and am very upset that it has been canceled after only 2 seasons. Hosted by Nikki Glaser. If you don't know by now what show or what we're going to talk about, you clearly don't read our episode titles, but that's okay. Sit back, relax, and let's not read into FBoy Island. Ooh.
Can I just start by saying I hate that they call it FBoy Island? Just say fuck. We're an explicit podcast. They can be an explicit reality.
It's also on HBO Max, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think it's, like, on, like, a net... Like, I don't understand how TV works, but I don't think it's on, like, a cable thing where, like, you have to be not explicit.
Well, isn't there also, like, a lot of sex in it?
Yeah, I mean, like,
There's
they
also,
definitely, like, really like having sex.
Yeah, and Nikki Glaser always makes a lot of sexual innuendos.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah.
So how is this different from, like, Too Hot to Handle or, like...
So, the
Island?
premise of this show... So, Larissa's never seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in case you can tell.
In case you can tell.
Yeah, I feel like it'll kind of be like that podcast that's like Murder with My Husband, where they explain the murder to the clueless husband, but then it's like we're explaining reality TV to the clueless
Yeah.
Oh, but the husband isn't the murderer.
Oh, no.
Oh,
She
okay.
just
I was
explains
like,
true crime to him.
So...
No, they would be arrested, not...
Yeah, Alexis, how
So
dare
you are an
you
FBoy.
talk about other podcasts on our podcast? How
Oh,
dare
I'm
you?
sorry. That was free promo.
Yeah, free promo for someone else. Jesus. Anyway,
Never again. Okay.
FBoy Island is basically like there are 3 girls that come on, and they have to figure out who's a fuckboy and who's a nice guy. Quote, nice guy. They're all fuckboys.
Okay.
Basically, it's like at the end they have to pick one of them, and like they're trying to fall in love. I say fall in love. It's a reality dating show. Let's be realistic.
Okay.
And at the end, they have to pick one, and if they pick an F-boy, he could choose to, like, keep all the money, or, like, all the money that's up for grabs, the prize,
Right.
or split it with her, and if they pick a nice guy, then they get to split the money. So, like, there's incentive to pick nice guys, but also,
But are the nice
you go
guys,
with
like,
your heart.
really... Like you said, they're not really nice guys.
they're nice-
Does the show believe they're nice guys?
They're nice guys
They're-
TM, you know?
Yeah, you like self-proclaim if you're an F-boy or a nice guy when you're like applying to the show. Like you do a little tape like audition and you say.
self-proclaimed it.
And
Yeah.
I find it really funny because I feel like if anything in real life, when guys are like nice guys, it just makes you think of that like incel nice guy Reddit forum where it's like they're complaining that no one will date them, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny that they make it seem like nice guys are the ones you want to date and not the F-boys. And then sometimes on the show, it's like the F-boys are actually better candidates than the nice boys. At least they're real. At least they're real, though.
Because
F-boys are
also,
honest.
the F-boys are like, at the end, it's like they're trying to pitch, like, oh, I've been reformed. Like, I'm a nice guy now because I met you and I like you and I want to, like, continue our relationship with you. Whereas, like, the nice guys are just like, I'm just such a nice guy. Like, girls are always passing me over and it's like, okay, fuck off.
Yeah, and sometimes they literally will, like, get annoyed. Like, I remember one season, the nice guy, like, got annoyed that he wasn't getting picked over Peter.
Yeah, he's like,
Because he's like, I'm a nice guy.
yeah.
You have to pick me.
That's the funny thing is, like, some of them are just like, oh, I'm such a nice guy. I don't get why you're not picking me. And it's like, okay, well, like, you shouldn't really have to say you're a nice guy. Like,
she
people
still has
should just
autonomy over her own choices. Like,
And it's
okay
like,
if she wants
well,
someone
like,
else.
remember season 1, she picks the, quote, nice guy, but he's just, like, an asshole the entire time.
So is there, like, tension between the fuckboys and the nice guys?
Like, sometimes, yeah.
Are they, like, similar?
I'd say season 1, Garrett,
Yeah.
people were trying to expose him for being there for not the right
Yeah,
reasons.
because to be fair, Garrett was the ultimate
Mhm.
fuckboy.
There were allegations that he had a girlfriend back home. And, yeah, should we dive in? Or is there...
Yeah,
it's kind of like
okay.
mid-season.
So
Where should we
let's...
start?
let's go over roughly our format is we start by talking about like tropes in the TV shows. Reality TVs I feel like a little bit harder because it's not
maybe like cliches.
But
or like,
we can talk about that, and then we move into like the characters, or for us the contestants, but I call them characters still. That's what they are to me. And then we usually will talk about the finales, and so we'll talk about season 1 and 2 finales, and then we'll usually talk about our hot, sexy, fine, fresh takes.
All right.
Okay.
So we can start with some tropes. I don't know, Alexis, did you like prepare any like tropes that you thought of?
So I didn't know what the word tropes meant, but I just made some notes on what I thought of the characters.
We do loose definitions of tropes.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
anything...
Like I can name one of mine is this is actually I feel like a trope is like the reformed bad boy. Or reforming the bad boy, I feel like is a big trope in this one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're watching the show, the girls don't want to not date a fuckboy. What they want is to reform a fuckboy. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
The one who changes him.
It's like, they go through the show and there's like 100 red flags. It's like, oh, like they're probably a fuckboy. They're like, no, but I think he like cares about me. So I think he's gonna like change for me. And it's like, okay, so you don't like really care about him being a nice guy. You want to change the bad boy. And so I feel like it's a really fun, kind of twisted trope that happens in a lot of reality TV shows and a lot of shows in general, where like, it's like the girl is like, oh, I could pick this guy who's like really good for me, or I could pick the guy who's like super hot and is gonna cheat on me, but I think he'll change. And that's what this show basically.
That's what the nice guys hate.
Okay, so it's kind of like themes.
Yeah, it's like
like
a theme. Sorry, I should have explained the word. I thought
like reoccurring like motives, like
yeah.
people like this happens a lot, like that happens a lot.
Yeah, so I feel like this happens a lot in this show specifically because it's Fuckboy Island, right? They're like 50% of them are fuckboys. And I think it's an interesting one because like people do love a reformed bad boy in like TV shows in general. So it's like kind of fun to see it real life. They're trying to like reform them, and it's like it's not gonna work out for you though, girl.
It's so like interesting too on like reality shows because it have it's like that meta element of like the people on the show having incentive to like fulfill kind of like story arcs. Like it's almost like they have to like make they have to try to like become like a character.
Yeah.
Almost. And like they have to like create their own like story throughout it in order to like gain.
And so it's kind of cool for this because with this trope, like the question throughout the show, I feel like they ask is, can a fuckboy change? Like, can he become a nice guy? And it's like, oh, kind of interesting. Like when they get kicked off, this is really fun. If you're a fuckboy, you go to Limbro, where you have to like hang out in like some beach shack basically, and like are being taught like fuckboy reforming fuckboys is basically what they call it, like a school.
Like the group therapy thing you were talking
about? Yeah. So there's actually 2 places they can get sent when they're eliminated. It's like, so basically, there's like eliminations each week, like any dating show. So just like whoever isn't like getting or like having connections with the main girls, and then if a nice guy gets eliminated, he goes to like this like
the nice guy grotto.
Yeah, it's like a really
which is
nice,
like a mansion basically. They get to have a vacation.
Yeah, and then if you're a fuckboy, you get eliminated. You go to Limbo, which is like purgatory, where they get lessons from Nikki Glacier on how to not be a fuckboy, and. I love Nikki Glacier as this host. I'm not gonna lie.
I think she's like really funny in like certain parts of it, and then there are like other parts where I'm like, you need to shut the fuck up now.
It's like sometimes the things she says are cringe, but I feel like it's like self-aware cringe, where it's almost like meta, and they're making fun of like reality shows. Like they're very self-aware. I feel like, which I love.
I mean, she's also like she is a comedian, so I feel like she kind of knows roughly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, she can like.
She can kind of like make the joke. I feel like she can make the jokes and like pull it off a little bit more than like a regular host. Like I feel regular hosts of reality shows are usually really sincere, like the Chris Harrison type. But like she's just a comedian, so she's gonna like fuck around.
How like self-aware do you think like the teams behind this are in like general? Do you think like they are kind of just like really puppeting these like characters?
Yeah, I absolutely.
Or do you think they drink into it a little bit?
No, I don't think they drink it at all.
I think they're like straight up
100% just like let's fucking like just this is a crazy idea for a show. People are gonna be into it.
To them, the people who make it.
Yeah,
they're like rolling
dice. Oh, it would be
like...
hilarious if we did this.
Yeah.
Kind of is the vibe, yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically just like an island-based reality show with the twist of you have to decide who's an F-boy and who's a nice guy.
Yeah. Actually, it's fun also because another trope that I said, I don't know if this is really a trope, but I feel like this is a common theme in reality shows, especially like Love Island and stuff, is like love versus money. So like it's kind of like the vibe of like, because they have to figure out if they're gonna split the money at the end. Like in Love Island, it's like one of you gets the money and you either split it or you keep it, and so there's that like trust aspect to it. And in this show, it's like, oh, if I pick wrong, I could be out $100,000. But if I pick right, I get to split $100,000 with a person who I want to start a relationship with. So it's like kind of a fun little theme that reality shows do, is like they incentivize you with money so that you'll come on the show, but then claim it's all about love too, and are like, you need to find love. And so like I feel like it adds an extra layer of like trust issues for the girls like looking for like a boyfriend, is they're like, fuck, like also if I don't pick a guy, I get heartbroken. If I pick the wrong guy, I get heartbroken and I lose a fuck ton of money. Well, I don't lose it, but I don't get it.
Because the guys might just be pretending to be interested so they can win the money at the end. So they have a lot of incentive to like stay on the show. Okay. And also just to get those Instagram sponsorships. Yeah. And live off of like HelloFresh money for a while.
Can you guys like tell like throughout like all of your reality TV show watching experience, like I feel like there's always that like balance of, is the prize money gonna be worth more than the I guess, what do you call it?
That's the
followers they gain. Like,
because I think the prize money is like an immediate gratification from the show, like from doing it. Like if you win the prize money, you immediately have that little nest egg. Like you can kind of like go from there and build your following a little bit easier. And also if you win, you're gonna get more of a following than like the people who didn't win.
Right.
But I feel like the followers probably in the long run are like helping you out the most. Like the way you present yourself on the show is probably what's gonna help you out the most long term if you want to move into like the Instagram.
Yeah, I think like being a fan favorite is more important than being the prize winner at the end, because the fan favorite is like long term income. I feel like people are gonna go to your Instagram and stuff for your business.
I was gonna say, I feel like if you can be the fan favorite and be like the runner up, because then you have the most screen time, so like you're getting the most like stuff, but also people feel really sorry for you because you like had such a deep relationship with this person and just didn't like get it. So they're like, oh, we need to like you know, like give you something, like, oh, we'll follow you and we'll help you on your journey and support you because like you were just rejected on live TV and that sucks. Like, you know what I mean? It's like whereas like if you're like a fan favorite mid-season, it's like they don't have the sympathy as much. They're like, oh, we just really liked watching her, but like their relationship was not that deep. You know what I mean? I feel like that's always a good place to be strategically, yeah.
It's usually be at almost.
Yeah, the person people have pity for.
You want to be, well, you want to be like the one that they like, right? But also like that they pity when you like lose.
They're always because they were rooting for you.
Because they were rooting for you. They're like,
and then insert the clip of Tyra Banks yelling, "We're all rooting for you."
Do it now.
So, but like, okay, so FBoy Island, they can jump around to other shows then as well, right? Like, say if they're not like the winner, maybe they have like they can have a spin-off.
Actually,
things,
right? I had a note about that. So sometimes the universes cross over. So one juicy crossover was, I don't know if any of you guys watched Love Island UK, but there was, so Garrett, the one who's accused of having a girlfriend, it ends up becoming this like confrontation, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get your girlfriend on the phone to like, or your alleged girlfriend to like prove, because he was like,
on the show,
like over a FaceTime.
But like on the show,
yeah, on the show,
not like a talk afterwards. Like, okay,
yeah, it was like on the show because like people were saying they're still dating. He's just here for the money. But then they were like, he was like, oh no, we broke up a couple months ago. So then they like FaceTimed her, filming it, and then put her on the spot and was like, so is what he's saying true? And she looked so uncomfy and awkward.
Oh, anyways, picking up your FaceTime, just like, hey, and you like shit, and like you're in bed, and like you're hungover,
she just,
and then
like,
you're
on she was lying
national
the whole
TV.
Time. Like they were like, "Are you guys dating?" And she was like, "No." Oh wait, but no. Sorry, I kept getting distracted. But the point is, she's from Love Island.
Oh no way! Really? I didn't realize that.
Oh, the girlfriend?
Yeah,
I only watched like periodic.
Damn. That's why they didn't get her on.
Or it might have been U.S. I just remember she was British. But sometimes they do have British people on Love Island as well. But
confusing. Keep the accents in the respective shows, please. It's already confusing.
Please, only Americans on.
I don't need to mistake any more Australians for Brits or Brits for Scots or Scots for. The Irish.
So yeah, I thought that was a good little crossover. You know, she went and she got that Love Island coins, and now she needed to send her boyfriend in so he could, you know, contribute to the household as well and get that
I was
FBoy
like,
Island coins.
gearing him. Okay, honey, you're gonna go on the show, and if they ask you and they ask if you have a girlfriend, what are you gonna say? And he says,
Yeah.
I don't have one, and I'm ready to fuck.
I don't think that relationship lasted.
So when they like perform these like, or like, so you said like sometimes the nice guys are assholes, and sometimes the fuck boys are like redeemable. Is that something that can take place during the show, or
So-
is that just depend on like the outcome, like what?
Like, during the show, you'll watch, like, for the nice guys being assholes, it's just, like, you're watching the show and you're like, I know you say you're a nice guy, but, like, you're straight up a dick. So, for the fuckboys performing, it's, like, they're, like, throughout the show, it's kind of like the girls are trying to figure out, oh, are they actually changing, like, because, like, they have feelings for me, or are they just playing me? Like, that's kind of the whole thing. So, like, they're changing throughout the show, maybe, but, like, the girls don't know if it's real or not. And then you find out afterwards, like.
But can you send a nice guy to like to the
No,
fuckboy
if
side?
you
Or
would-
to rehab? No, to the
No,
fuckboy side.
Their fates are predetermined.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're nice guys, so they're going to the grotto.
That's kind of fucked. So you can just be like, I'm a nice guy, and then you're just like the nice guy the whole time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I would say it's better story if you're the fuckboy who reforms. Like, you're probably going to get more, like, Instagram followers if you, like, go on or, like, I'm a fuckboy. And then throughout the show, you're like, I just really fell for her.
So do the nice guys even like stand a chance then? Like, are any like if
Um,
the girls are into the fuckboys and the fuckboys are also like incentivized to
I would say,
like trick the girls, then like where does that leave the nice guys?
well, like, the nice guys do say, like, in season 1, I think basically 2 of the 3 contestants had one fuckboy and one nice guy, and then one of the contestants had 2 fuckboys, I think.
okay.
But yeah, I think like usually it's like the nice guys is just like harder because like they'll kick them off because the nice guys aren't like talking to them initially, and then like they don't have as many nice guys to pick from them.
Okay.
But I'd say like the nice guys, they're not like it just depends on like how much riz you have. I feel like basically like the whole show is just like how much can you like charm this girl. Like, the only thing that, like, is bad about being a nice guy is you can't steal the money.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not, like, bad to be a nice guy. Because also, automatically, because there's halfway through the show, they reveal who's nice guys and who's fuckboys.
Okay.
So the girls know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to figure out, like, so automatically, if you're a nice guy, they're like, oh, I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Whereas,
can't
like,
split on
so,
that.
like, so they're like, you're not gonna, like, I believe that you're a nice guy. Now it's just, like, do I believe that our relationship is, like, actually good?
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that advantage because it's like people might not want to risk choosing an F boy and then them leaving with the money. It's a safer bet to choose a nice guy and you automatically get 50-50.
And I think, like, once they find out some of them are nice guys, they definitely are more inclined to keep them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all caught up, I think.
But, yeah.
No, I get it. Okay.
Well, my last trope or theme that I think is on this show and most reality shows is psychological torture. I think they, like, really, like, I think producers of, like, just reality shows in general really fuck with the contestants, like, so much. Like, with this show, I think it's, like, a huge thing about trust. Like, at least from my perspective, it seems like the huge thing is, like, you're basically, like, putting these girls in a position where, like, they could not possibly trust you. Like you just, like, you're fucking with their ability to trust so hard. And then you, like, are like, okay, now, like, pick one, follow your heart, but also you could, like, really, like, flop.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, this is probably one of the lesser shows that they, like, fuck with you. Whereas, like, did you hear all the drama about, like, Love is Blind or something? Where they, like,
they're getting
sleep deprive them and, like, feed them, like, lots of booze and, like...
Yeah, or, like, Temptation Island.
Oh, okay.
Which is another one of my favorite island-based reality TV shows, where they just, like, show them out of context footage of their partners, like, cheating on them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like they just, like, they'll try to fuck with your head so much that I feel like after you come off the show, you're like, I just, like...
How do you go back to reality after that? I feel like a lot of people are already coming from, like, a delusional space.
I don't think they can really go back to reality after that.
Yeah, they just have to use the prize money on BetterHelp.
They actually, they just use
and
the prize money
us to our sponsor of this episode,
BetterHelp. We don't have sponsors.
No.
Yeah,
I just get targeted with their ads a lot.
You're like, please sponsor it.
Yeah, BetterHelp. Do you want to sponsor?
Please sponsor, like, Alexis specifically.
Yeah,
the podcast we're good with.
No, yeah, I feel like they need to just spend all their prize money on the therapy.
Yeah.
After what happens, but yeah, I feel like it's something that's really interesting about reality TV because I feel like it's not like a well-kept secret that like the people who are running the show are really fucking with the contestants, but everyone watching is like, haha, it's so funny. And I mean, so are we. Like, it's part of a cycle, but it's like so interesting.
Do you think it's made for like people who watch it ironically, or do you think it's made for people who are like?
I think it's made for people who watch it ironically, like as something like fun to watch with all your friends.
Okay.
I think shows like The Bachelor, like I think when it was first created, it was made as like a show for people to watch, for people to find love, because it's super dramatic and they have really romantic parts of The Bachelor. Like when I was, I think 12 when I started watching The Bachelor, or maybe like 11 or something. I was like, oh my god, like they're in love. Like I was like really into it, and I was like really hardcore rooting for like, oh no, he needs to pick this girl because they have such a good connection and all that.
I think it used to be they went on for the prize of finding a husband, but then now they go on for the prize of Instagram followers, and then one unlucky person has to get married, as Jarvis Johnson puts it.
They just have to get engaged.
Oh, true.
But anyway, should we get back to FBoy Island specifically?
Yeah, let's get into
the psychological torture of reality TV shows was fun. Let's go back to the show. Okay, characters. The first character I want to talk about was my favorite character on the show.
Don't get my secrets.
So my favorite character on the show was in both seasons, and his name is Casey, and I loved Casey. Casey came on in season 1 as a fuckboy.
Okay.
And Casey fell in love with CJ, and they started dating. And he reformed, and then she didn't pick him, and it broke my heart, and I was so mad at her. And then he came on in the second season as a nice guy, but everyone's like, no, he's a fuckboy, he's just trying to play you because he got played he didn't get played, but like, because he didn't get picked last season. And then he's revealed to be a nice guy, and everyone's like, I still think he's trying to play you, and then he doesn't get picked again. And poor Casey, because he had like the most himbo energy, like I absolutely adored him. In season 1, he gets sent home by accident. Or not sent home, sent to the Limbro by accident, and then CJ wants him back, so he's like, I'm gonna break out of Limbro.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just to explain the accident, basically each week at elimination, they choose their bottom 2, and then out of the bottom 2, 1 gets sent home. So then CJ was trying to kind of like, I don't know,
let him know that he's not doing well, like, that he needs to step it up, basically.
Like, you know, when people will say, put in the doghouse. She's like,
she's like, you're in the doghouse, basically, is what she's trying to say.
But then there was like a twist that like both bottom 2 are getting sent home that week, so she actually didn't want to eliminate him, and then it caused all this drama.
And then it caused all this drama, and then
he was shit-talking her on camera, and then she walked up behind him. Do you remember that scene?
Oh, no, I don't remember that scene.
He was like, I just would have expected more maturity at her age, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and then like, she walks up behind him to like say sorry and be like, I didn't mean to.
She's standing right behind me, isn't she?
To be fair, I feel like if I had just got sent home, I also would be shit-talking the person who, like, it's like, I don't know, we had a real relationship, and you just, like, did this because you were mad at me, basically, and now I have to, like, leave.
Yeah, I just felt for her, because I think...
Well, I did feel for her, though, like, I don't, like, I think...
Do a little debate.
Yeah,
sure. Okay, yeah, I like both of them, but I just think it was an accidental send home, so they were both kind of like, oh, shit. And they could have just talked it through instead of him.
Whoops.
They were a couple though that I actually was like, I watched it and I was like, I feel like you guys would work out because she likes that you're a little bit of a fuckboy, but like you're also a himbo, so you'll kind of just seem like you'll do anything to like make her happy.
Fuckboys, I feel like is a good happy medium because it's like it doesn't matter what they want to do. Like
it seemed like he kind of would just with both of the relationships he was in, it seemed like he was just kind of like, I'll do whatever it takes.
I think himbos have a hard time executing and closing.
Yeah.
Which is really the only scary part about dating a fuckboy, is that he's going to execute and close.
With him, it seemed kind of like, oh, I can like a girl who I want to hook up with too. Like, it seemed almost like I kind of like her now. And so he's like, I don't want to not be with her. And so he's, like, doing all this shit. At least I bought into it 100%. I think he was as close to a nice guy as the guys on this show were gonna get.
What do you think?
Should we talk about CJ?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure, yeah. Let's talk about CJ.
Who's with
Casey
in the scenario we're explaining?
Yeah.
So she personally was my favorite girl of season 1.
Okay. I think she might have been my favorite too.
Yeah, she just has a fun energy. She kind of is like a girl version of a himbo. And in her intro, she says that this is what I found interesting. She says she wants someone funny and dumb because who else can she play pranks on that she got arrested to? Which was so oddly specific. And I was like, is this like prank YouTube circa 2016?
Wait,
like,
sorry.
what's going on?
She pranks that she can play on that would get arrested.
Yeah, she was like, I want to play a
funny.
prank, but I've got arrested.
Yeah. Otherwise,
like
how is
she has a very
me pranking him that I'm getting arrested? Like such a specific scenario. Like that's
she just really has this one thing she wants to do with the husband, and like.
Well, I don't know. Like, what else do you do with a
That's
husband?
really cute though.
No, I think
I
it's
like
cute.
couples. Like it could never be me, but I like couples that prank each other. I think they.
Yeah, I mean, I hate pranks, but
it seems like a lot of energy for me. But like, it's cute for them.
Yeah. I don't like anything to, prank YouTube like the arrested scenario. I just like a little
like if it's
prank patrol here and there. Like when we called you guys saying we're gonna be 2 hours.
Oh,
more.
that's fine. I don't
But then
mind
2
that.
seconds
But, like,
later,
I feel like pranks, like, usually are just kind of like, I was a dick to you, but it was a prank.
Yeah, they're either like super
and I'm like, fuck you.
assholey, or like
Okay.
not really that funny for the amount of effort they take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like quick ones, yeah.
It's like, oh, like, haha, like, I like pranked like so and so that I like died or something, and I'm like, fucking what?
But I see what
That's
you mean
just
though. I feel like that would be like a himbo thing to be into.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
very
but-
cute. Like it's very wholesome and harmless.
She was also like, I understood, feel like for the most part where she was at. Like I was never confused about what CJ was thinking. I was never like, oh, I wonder what CJ wants. It's like, no.
Okay, I like that when like motivations are clear.
Yeah, CJ
like-
wants Casey, and she doesn't know she can trust him, so she's also gonna date this other guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's
The only
Very
time I
fine.
didn't like CJ was when she picked, what's his name?
new Jared.
New Jared, right?
There's
There were
OG
two
Jared and new
Jareds.
Jared.
There was
New
one
Jared,
guy
new
named.
Jared.
That's what they call it.
Well, because there was Jared came on earlier, and I think like they had a couple of new people came on, so then there was new Jared. So there's OG Jared who was with Nakia, I think, right?
Mhm.
And then new
Okay.
Jared who was with CJ.
Yeah. Yeah. And CJ's
yeah.
just gorgeous and
I mean, she's beautiful.
just yeah.
I liked Sarah at the beginning because I love a hot sexy
She's
fine fresh
blonde.
blonde. But
She was the only blonde girl, so naturally Becca gravitated towards her.
Like, that's a very specific type. It is mostly herself. So,
well, I don't know. Look at me and like consider having a different
any other
type.
option? Yeah.
I don't get it. No, I liked Sarah at the beginning, but like she kept falling for Garrett's shit, and Garrett was like ultimate fuckboy. So it was just like really fucking annoying. I'd be like, okay, look, I liked you, but now you're just being ridiculous. Also, you wouldn't like this. Sarah's blonde and Garrett's blonde.
I don't
Siblings.
like blonde couples.
Okay.
Siblings are dating.
Is that what it makes you think of, that they're siblings?
I think they tend to look a little bit more sibling-y than most couples.
I think they both had blue eyes too.
Yeah, blonde couples, can't trust them.
Can't
Siblings
trust
are
them.
dating.
Siblings are dating. If
Why do
I
you want to date someone that looks like you?
if I dated a blonde boy, would you like be really disgusted?
It would take a while to get over.
What if
it.
I dated a blonde boy with
They
blue
would have to
eyes?
like look significantly different than you.
I think it'd be really funny to see your reaction if I just showed you a boy I was dating who looked exactly like me. I think you would
Like,
not be
yeah.
happy.
I just like when couples look a little different. I
Me
don't
and Nate
like.
have the exact same eye and hair color.
Yeah, your boyfriend's Asian, so. That's,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually, like,
okay, yes, but
you're right. You both have dark hair and brown eyes, but like he's a different race, which
That's
does.
true.
He's
stop
also, like,
the
a
question of if you're siblings. Anyways,
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
sorry.
So
we were talking
Sarah.
about Sarah
Can I
and
say her
Garrett.
now? It's
Yeah,
just
talk
on
about Sarah.
So, this is what Sarah's like. I feel like Sarah is that friend who is like a sweetheart and like, you love her, but you're kind of like, girl, break up with him. You know what I mean? Like that friend who's always coming to you with relationship advice and you're like, you need to break up. You need to break up. Because it's just like, no matter what you say, they won't listen. And she has the same
No,
issue
I
with Garrett all the
fucking
time.
Don't I know it? Yeah.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Who doesn't have
Friends like
someone
that.
like that? Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, she's a sweetheart, but you just get annoyed after a while because it's like, okay, dude, you're being a pushover. Like,
Yeah.
stand up for yourself.
It's also
So,
like it's been made so clear that this guy is like dog shit.
yeah.
Why are you still
Yeah.
in it. And it's like they've been dating on this show. It makes even less sense because like it's one thing if it's like your friend in real life and like they're in a long-term relationship or something. She's been dating Garrett for like 3 weeks and she's like, no, I just trust him. And I'm like, why do you trust him?
Yeah,
like I think they're on the show for only 6 weeks.
yeah.
Ridiculous.
And one thing I will say is I do feel bad for her in the sense of, like, you know, we all have that one relationship where we're like, oh, why did I date them? They were trash.
Yeah.
And I should have seen the light sooner. Hers just happened to be on television for everyone to see. So even though it was annoying at times, I do feel bad for her for that. And
I think, like, I would have felt more bad for her if she had made any effort to, like, have a connection with anyone else. But, like, even the guy who was in her other, like, top 2, I don't feel like she made an effort to have a connection with him. Like, I feel like she lasered in on Garrett and was like, he's the only one. She didn't, like...
You mean, like, new Garrett? Or was it... Oh, sorry, new Jared. Sorry.
Yeah, God. No, she just, like... It felt like every other guy she, like, was seeing was, like, insignificant in comparison to Garrett. And it's like, okay, well, maybe, like, take a step... If everyone's saying he's shitty, take a step back from him. And try interacting with these other guys who you say you like.
yeah. Also, another fun twist with those characters was, you know how we were talking about Casey was with CJ and then Sarah was with Garrett?
Yeah.
So Garrett and Casey were besties
Yeah.
on the show. Like, they were getting really close. Like, they were like, after this, let's move in and become roommates. Like, they were getting really close.
That's so cute.
Meanwhile, CJ...
Little romance.
I love the romances on reality TV.
Yeah, I do like them too. I'm always
They're
like...
rare, but they
I like when you make a bro friend.
Especially for, like the broest of bro dudes that are on that show.
Yeah, but the thing is, CJ hated Garrett because she saw through him. She saw that Garrett was playing her girl, Sarah. So she was annoyed that CJ was besties with Garrett because it kind of made her have red flags where it's like, oh, if you really get along with this kind of guy, like, is that what you're like? And you're just pretending to, like...
Yeah, and because they're such bros and CJ thought, like, Garrett was such a shit, she's like, well, are you just playing me then? Like, should I trust you? But I feel like Casey's just... He's just such a himbo. Like,
he just goes along.
I don't even think Casey was like knew if Garrett was playing Sarah or not. I think Casey was like,
you're into Sarah.
Like, I think Casey just assumed that Garrett also had feelings for Sarah because Casey also had feelings for the girl that he met.
Sorry, I accidentally said
I lost that, yeah.
Like, I assumed that Casey sort of thought, oh, Garrett must also have feelings for Sarah because I have feelings for CJ, and we both came on as fuckboys.
Oh, okay, so yeah, he maybe assumes the best, yeah.
I assumed that he, like, I'm assuming the best of him because he's hella hot.
Was Garrett playing Casey? Or
Sarah? Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can, like, we can jump around a little bit, so we can sort of talk about the season 1 finale because this was wild to me. The season 1 finale, the girls all picked their guys. The only one we haven't really talked about is Nakia, but honestly, I skipped a lot of her stuff because it was a bit boring. I found that she just, like, she picked a guy who she liked, and that was it.
Yeah, we could quickly summarize.
Yeah, sure. So who'd she pick?
She picked OG Jared.
Right, that's who I thought she picked.
Okay. And yeah, she kind of had a similar situation where he was, like, an F-boy, but she kind of was hoping he was reformed, and it wasn't, I think there wasn't as much drama in their relationship as some of the others.
Yeah,
so it was kind of just...
I think with Nakia, it was like most of her relationships that she had, there wasn't like as much drama between her and the person as there was between, like, I feel like the boys and like stuff. Like, it would be like, oh, they'd tell her stuff and then she'd talk about it with the person she was with.
Yeah.
So I felt like she was kind of like maybe the smartest one in a sense because she just was like, I like this person. We seem to have a good relationship. And then she picked him and he split the money with her because he liked her.
Yeah.
Also.
Didn't the other guys also not like him? Like OG Jared?
I don't know. I think so. I know one of the Jareds had beef with the other guys, but I don't know. Well, and then, so in the finale, CJ's picking between Casey and New Jared. And New Jared is a nice guy, but, like, actually such an asshole. Like in the season 1 finale, they do their, like, 24-hour dates, and I think he, like, makes a comment to Casey, like, oh, how are my, like, sloppy seconds? Because Casey goes on the date second, which is, like, super fucking gross. And then, like, he sort of, like, is, like, just, like, antagonizing him and be like, oh, well, like, she'd be fucking stupid to pick Casey. Like, I'm a nice guy, I got my shit together, I got money, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you sound super nice.
Yeah,
and that's when it gets into that nice guy Reddit thread.
Yeah, it's like,
nice, and then it just
he's the epitome of, like, I'm a nice guy because I have my life together. I'm like, that's not the same thing. I'm like, it sounds like you maybe just don't get a lot of girls.
So you don't know whether they're nice means.
Yeah.
By
And just like
definition.
he was being a dick to them. And I thought this is what made me like Casey, was that in the season 2 finale when it's Casey and the other guy Nico for like the girls' attention, they seem to have a friendship more or less. Like they're just like nice to each other. Whereas like in the season 1 finale, the like guy who he's like fighting with for CJ is such an asshole to him. And I'm like, if you're quote a nice guy, you're probably not gonna be like just like a dick to the person who's like also in the same boat as you. And she ends up picking New Jared, which is like the least satisfying like ending ever, when like you just watched him be an asshole for like the entire like season.
Especially
and you're like,
Casey reformed. Like came
And he
back from
did
Limbo.
reform. So what happens is at the end they ask, you had to lock in your decision if you were going to split the money or keep it. And Casey shows it and he's like, oh, I was going to split the money with you. Like, yeah, I really like you. And it was so sad.
Lessons learned.
She looked kind of sad after hearing that news.
I think she was
Do you
really
think she
sad.
regretted
I
it?
think she regretted it, yeah. Well, she and Jared broke up. Well, all of the relationships ended. None
I'm
of
sure they
them
would have
lasted.
all broken up anyways.
Yeah, but I think she did definitely like CJ more than, or she definitely liked Casey. CJ definitely liked Casey more than she liked New Jared, but I think she thought New Jared was a safer bet.
Yeah.
And then, do you have anything to say about her choice? CJ's choice? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just felt the same way. Like, I think we were all rooting for Casey after he got reformed in Limbo, because also, I think you might have touched on this, but he, like, went to Limbo but then escaped.
Yeah.
They, like, did a twist
they
where
actually
he was,
did
like,
bust it?
allowed
Yeah,
to
he
escape.
busted out of Limbo
Like, did he
to go
swim?
get CJ.
Was it an
No,
island?
it's, like, on the beach, basically. You can kind of, I think, see it almost.
It's like a
from
cage,
the-
like straight up a cage. He's like crouched.
I
in.
think
He's,
basically what it was is Casey actually had a relationship with CJ, and CJ like wanted him back, and so he was like, I'm gonna, and they were like, oh, you should do a bit where you like bust out. I think that's basically
Yeah.
it.
That's fine.
But yeah, I
So
also
he came back for her, and, you know, it was like everyone was rooting
it's like
for that.
it's such like a
and she's so bitches.
it's just
Mm.
that,
we're
that
all
point-
rooting for you.
She had to secure the
Yeah.
$50,000, you know?
it's such a
But-
good like story arc, I guess.
Yeah.
What I realized I read in my notes was I watched the season 1 finale yesterday, and something that New Jared says about Casey is like, oh, like she wants a partner, or he says it in his speech, you want a partner, not a project, about like Casey basically. And I was like, in your speech, why you're saying she should pick you, you're also putting down this other guy saying like, well, he's just a kid and I'm a man and shit like that. And it's like, okay, well, like you should just like talk about your relationship. Like if you're actually this nice guy, you should probably just talk about your relationship. And you should, and also if your relationship is strong enough, you shouldn't have to put down Casey. Like you
Also,
should
it's
just
only gonna make Casey look better and like more
yeah,
sympathetic.
because Casey didn't say shit. Like Casey didn't say anything about New Jared. He was like, no, this is CJ's choice. Like we have this relationship. Like he's like really into her. Like I just feel like he respected her a lot more than Jared did. Jared was like toxic man, alpha male.
Were you happy with the choice, Alexis?
No one was happy with the choice of Larissa.
That's what I feel like. I don't know. Sometimes like I've watched reality TV before. Do you guys ever feel like do you ever like you're rooting for like the ending that you want? Like has there been? I've never seen this where it's like fulfilling, like a happy ending, and it's like the bad people get rewarded, or the bad people get punished, and the good people get rewarded, or whatever. Like, there's never like a.
I think in season 2, I liked. What was her name? Let's find out.
Isabella.
Oh, Mia. I liked. She picked.
I just said her name.
In season 2, I felt like Mia and Peter's story was very like she liked him from the start, and they got together, and that was that.
That's a cute couple, like Mia and Peter.
You're gonna get a kick out of this. His name was Peter Park. Okay,
That's rough.
So then the other thing that happened in season 1 that really pissed me off was Garrett and Sarah. She picks Garrett. Garrett says, I'm going to keep the money, which is, like, pretty fucked, but whatever. You know, he played the game. He did a good job. Sarah's pretty fucking stupid for, like, keeping him around.
Because that boys are
That's
allowed
on
to
her.
control.
But then they are like, oh, twist, actually, you don't get to keep the money. And it's all going to go to a charity of Sarah's choosing. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, no, he played, like, I don't like him. I wish that she hadn't picked him. But she picked him. Her decision. She has to live with that. And he played the game really well, considering Sarah, like, just, like, would keep... Oh. considering Sarah, like, kept picking him. Like, obviously he knew how to play her.
Yeah.
I just feel like you gotta respect the hustle he did. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, yeah, he's a dick, but he deserves the money.
Yeah, like, they, like, laid out the premise of the show. Like, you're either a nice guy, and then you can split the money and leave the relationship, or an F-boy, and you can win the money if you are F-boy enough to deceive them. And then it's like, he literally did that and won as a result. And then they were like, oh, just kidding. Twist ending. So it was, like, kind of hilarious, but at the same time, it just made no sense, because it's also, like, changes the whole premise. And like we were saying, it was only season 1. If you bring out a twist, it's better to, like, wait till you've had a bunch of seasons already.
Yeah, so, like, that's the thing is, like, the show was already, like, high stakes enough. Like, the girls were already trying to figure out, like, who to trust. You didn't need to add this up. It also, to me, didn't feel satisfying that, like, he didn't get the money. I was like...
I thought that'd be perfect as well, because, like, if you have 3 couples, I feel like that's a good, like, establishing, like, this is what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
like, if you're going to make more seasons.
It showed the exact outcomes that could happen. One girl picked the nice guy, automatically split the money. One girl picked the F-boy, and he chose to split it with her. And one girl picked the F-boy, and he chose to keep it. It's all 3 outcomes. They got it.
Yeah, that's
They got every single one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was by chance
like,
or
all
what.
your trailers and stuff for next season would all be, like, you could, like, this is
Yeah,
how it
and
might
so
go.
I was kind of like, no, he deserves it. Like, and she also deserves to lose it at this point, because she didn't even, like,
hate the player, not the game. Or
like... She only ever was into Garrett the whole time. The fact that the other guy who she had thought that he even had a shot was crazy to me. Like, she only ever had eyes for Garrett. Every time Garrett did something, Garrett straight up had a girlfriend, and she's like, oh, I believe you. I trust you. You don't.
So did he actually have a girlfriend?
Yeah. I think so.
The Love Island girl.
Oh, but, like, that
Yeah, it
was
was
split, actually. Okay.
Or at least, I don't know who's fucking her. It doesn't matter. He didn't want to be with Sarah, and he was playing her the whole time. And Sarah kept being like, I just see a life together. And I was like, with this asshole?
She should have to go to, like, dumb bitch purgatory.
Oh, yeah. And also another thing, too, is, like, and I think also, like, it adds to it because it's, like, as the audience, you're seeing what Garrett is, like, happening behind the scenes. Although I think this actually did get brought up to her. I think one of the guys, like, tattled, which is honestly hilarious when they turn on each other, but he also was, like, so rude. Body shaming. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that.
Okay.
Continue the sentence. The tone of the sentence is weird, but we were getting
Okay,
there.
anyways, he just, like, would say rude comments. Like, apparently he, like, said how he wouldn't be interested in Sarah because he only dates girls with, like, fake boobs or something. Like, he was like, I have to get her a pair of fake boobs to be seen in LA with her.
We should explain this. There's a part of the show called Mansplain, I think it was, where the guys who were kicked off come back.
Oh, yeah, and expose each other.
And expose the 2 guys that the girls have left.
Oh, yeah, how did we not bring that up in such an episode?
So, basically what happened on that one was one of the guys said about Garrett that Garrett said, when we get back home, I'm going to have to buy her a pair of fake boobs. Because, like, yeah, he couldn't be seen with a girl with such small tits. And Garrett's like, no, I would never say that, but obviously
like the characters, the contestants, whatever, they just say that shit as well on TV. Like, do you not know you're being, like, I guess you're being a fuckboy, I don't know.
It really makes you think, like, if that's what he's comfortable saying with, on TV, like, how is he in real life? Like, you're kind of shitty.
Also, like, even if, like, she wasn't sure if that was made up or not, like, someone said that he said that, and you just really seem to, like, let it go.
Yeah, she literally looked unbothered, and it's kind of sad, because it's like, girl, at a certain point, like, love yourself enough to leave him, but hopefully she's doing better now.
Yeah, like, to be fair, I think some of the guys were kind of, like, making shit up because they didn't like a guy, or, like, saying things that were, like, out of context and stuff, and that's fine. But, like, also, when everyone, like, collectively hates the guy you're picking, maybe you need to start thinking.
Especially on the show like that, because I feel like that happens a lot. Like, I hate it when, like, characters don't believe, like, when characters, like, are telling them about things about other people, especially when it's like, well, you've known him for the same amount of time. Like, you all started the show, what was it, like, 3 weeks ago, and you're all, like, why would you know him better because he's been inside you? Like,
yeah, it's like if every single person hates the person you're dating, maybe there's a pattern
at least question it.
Also, like, if the people who, like, the boys are gonna know the boys better than the girls are gonna know the boys, because the way that they talk, like, the way that a guy talks when you're not around, that's an important thing to know about. So, like, I feel like if you're still not trusting them, like, that's wild. Like, everyone is saying the same thing about this guy, so probably there's some truth to it. Even if, like, they're exaggerating, there's probably some truth to it.
Or maybe she was like, oh, he's gonna buy me tits.
She just thought it was really romantic. But anyways, the ending of season 1 really pissed me off, because I was like, Also, like, terrible, like, for future seasons. Like, no one wants to come on and say, I'm an F-boy now that they know they can't.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna make that swing where they're like, I played you, I'm taking the money. Because all you get is a bad reputation and no money. Whereas, like, if you do it where you come on and you take the money, it's like, oh, people are like, yeah, like, at least you got money. You kind of suck, but, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but, yeah, just to wrap up the mansplain explanation part, it's just, honestly, it's, like, the best part of the show. Like, honestly, I don't know how we did
it. It was so good.
It's so good. Picture, like, just, like, you know, the remaining guys and then, like, all the ex-contestants, and they're just, like, okay, expose them for all their worth. And they're just, like, it's, like a reunion. Yeah, it's kind of like at a reunion like where they bring all the drama, but it's, like, within the season, and they're just, like saying everything.
Did they know that was going to happen?
Not in season 1.
Not in season 1. In season 2.
That's fun.
But
that's really
it's kind of like a women tell all or the men tell all.
Yeah.
So them must have been shooting their pants. Gary must have been shooting his pants, and then it was revealed, and then she was just like,
and
whatever.
Sometimes if they don't share enough, they're kind of like, they pry them. Like, they're like, no, you have to have something on them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny because they're like forcing them to like turn on their.
That's fuck.
Yeah. Garrett was like, I just like.
Can you say nice
so
things?
fucking.
Yeah. You can say your honest opinion of people. So.
Yeah, like you'll say your honest opinion. Some of them will be like, "Oh, like this is my boy, like he's great."
Okay.
And some will be like, "No, like he's an asshole." Like, and they definitely would take like the things that the nice guys would say more seriously than the things that the F boys would say.
I feel like at that point, like none of them are in the running anymore, right?
No, because I feel like they would be like, "Oh, well, this guy's like a nice guy, so like he's not just gonna be a dick to be a dick," even though totally they would. Whereas like the F boys, like, oh, maybe like they're friends with some of the other guys, and they're like, oh, like yeah, I'll just like fuck with her, like I don't care.
I see.
Basically, I feel like that's the vibe of it. Was a lot like, well, F boys just don't have hearts, and I was like, I don't think that's how that works. I think they just fuck around a lot.
Yeah.
So, season 2, Peter Park was on season 1. Got kicked off in the first episode, basically, or maybe the second. I think it was the first or second.
Okay.
Hilarious. He spends the entire season 1 in Libro. Which, honestly, like, watching it, like, in the first episode, or in the second episode or something, they, like, open up on Limbro, and it's just Peter Park, like, doing little, like, cross-legged yoga, like, and they come in, and he's like, well, hello, friend. Like, it basically just kind of feels like that vibe. So that's really funny. He was, like, kind of like a character who I thought was really funny in season 1.
Yeah.
I think I was back in season 2, and he's like, I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. This guy's, Peter Park's back. Like, he's ready to play.
The best part is he comes back in season 2 wearing the exact same outfit head to toe that he wore in season 1. So the exact same yellow black striped shirt. Yeah, exact same pants. Just in case nobody recognized him, you know, he had to really...
It's his like, uniform.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to battle.
So he was just, like, a hilarious character, I feel like. And he did not reform after Limbo.
Does he ever kiss a girl on the show?
Yeah, so season 2, he immediately has a connection with Mia.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's one of the girls.
Oh,
and
sorry.
She like, likes him. She's like, I liked you in season 1, and then, like, stuff like that. So, like, she and him immediately have a relationship, like, a connection.
But how do you come back on? I guess they broke up.
Mia's a new girl.
Yeah, sorry, this is season 2, so he got eliminated season 1, like, in the beginning, so he never lost a relationship.
Yes.
But then he comes back season 2, and then the girl is actually watched season 1 and was like, oh, I had a crush on this guy on this season.
That's kind of cute.
So it's really cute, but it's also, like, a little bit interesting that they chose to do that, because then it's like none of the other guys really have a chance from the beginning, because she's so dead set on him. Which the nice guys, of course, get salty about, and then it turns into another incel Reddit thread.
Does Peter come on as a nice guy or fuckboy?
Fuckboy. Both times he comes on.
Well, that makes it a little more interesting. I feel like
so that's kind of fun. So Peter comes on as a fuckboy both times, but Casey comes on as a nice guy in season 2. But Casey comes on a couple episodes later in season 2.
He's gonna do his like villain arc this time. He just goes back to a fuckboy, and then
he's
season
just
3
like
go
a
back
himbo
to
kind of for all of season 2. I feel like, right? Yeah. Like, I don't remember him being anything other than just, like, himbo Casey.
So is it a lot of the same?
No, those are the only 2 of the same characters, and then the 3 girls are Tamaris with the pink hair.
Tamaris.
Is it Luis or Louisa?
I think Louisa.
Louisa with the blonde hair, who I just didn't like her.
Should I double check the
pronunciation?
Oh, okay.
And then Mia, who is definitely the hottest one of the season, in my opinion.
Okay.
I like Tamara.
Oh, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a hot debate because we have different views on this character.
Yeah, but yeah. So then Mia was the one. You're like,
you can see your notes. You're like, I fucking hate Tamara.
Don't look at my notes. Anyways, Mia's the one who like has a thing with Peter, and basically he seems like he's the only guy that she really has a thing with. Like, she has other guys Or I guess, like, her other runner-up is also kind of a sweet guy. He's, like, really into her, but, like, it's just, like, it was always going to be Peter.
Okay.
But, she just has that love story with him, and then Louisa has...
Louise, question mark.
Louisa has her two... I feel like we don't need to talk about all the guys. We just talk about her final two.
Honestly, I thought she would have been your fave because she's blonde.
No, she annoyed me.
Oh, an annoying blonde?
Yeah.
That wasn't, this, okay.
I didn't like...
A little too close to him. Sorry.
Rude. No, her final two, I liked her one final guy, Benedict, was the only nice guy. Benedict and Casey are the only two.
At least go by Benny if you're going to be named
Shut up for a second. They're the only two, like, nice guys who came on the show where I'm like, you're actually kind of nice guys. Like, you know,
they like signed up like really genuinely, like, oh, a show.
It's not even
I'm
like
nice
I
guy.
thought like he was particularly genuine. Is that I didn't think he was an asshole. Like
okay.
I was like, you seem relatively nice, and you don't seem like you want to fuck around, which is like basically the requirements on a reality TV show for me to assume you're a nice guy.
Does that work more with the girls? Are they more inclined for like to go for like a nice guy that like comes across as like an actual nice guy, or like are they equally turned off?
I think they just like. They're really suspicious of everyone at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everyone, they're like, oh, well, like, you're probably a fuckboy. Like, what if you're, like, playing me kind of thing?
Okay.
So they're suspicious of, like, literally everyone in the first, like, few episodes. And then, like, when they're revealed, I think, is when it sort of changes. But, yeah. So, she even said to Benedict, oh, I thought you were a fuckboy because you're, like, really hot. Which I thought was kind of hilarious because everyone on the show is just really hot. So, like, it's not going to work. And then her other guy was, like,
Roast
what, Mercedes or something?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Yeah. And he was actually a fuckboy.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of, like, I feel like everyone just said, like, bad things about her. And the reason why Louisa really annoyed me was because, like, she would be like, oh, like, Benedict's just, like, too, like, she basically, like, I think she found out he was a nice guy and she was less attracted
to him. Yeah, she literally got the ick from him being nice.
Because, like, she, like, asked him a question.
Like,
I
from
think
being nice or,
being
like,
a
also
nice, quote,
just
a nice guy.
Was he
like,
nice, though?
Yeah, he was nice. But, like, she liked him before when he was being nice to her. And she thought he was a fuckboy.
He was a nice guy. She, like
she,
gave her the ick.
They were, like, talking about, like, kinks or whatever in
so
one of their dates. And she said, what's the weirdest place you ever had sex? And he's like, oh, like, my friend's mom's, like, van or something. And he was, like, very, like, open to everything she was saying. And she's like, it's just, like, he's too, like, vanilla. Like, the weirdest place to have sex is, like, here. And it's like, yeah, but it sounds like he's really okay with, like, fucking anywhere if you're really into weird shit. Like,
yeah.
She's like, oh, I really like to do, like, this. And he's like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. We should do that sometime. Basically, like, he's like...
Well, he hasn't already done everything that I want to do,
yeah.
So...
She was, like, mad at him for, like, not having, like, done as much weird kinky shit as she's done. And it's like, it sounds like he's super into it, though. Like, he's not saying no to any of this. There's no, like... It's off the table, and she's like, yeah, just too vanilla for me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, whereas I feel like Mercedes was the opposite, where, like, sometimes he would come off a little bit, like, possessive.
Yeah.
And, like, toxic. But then it's like she liked that. And so it was kind of, like, frustrating to watch at times, because it's like, your problem with Benedict is that he's nice. Which, now that I'm talking about it, I'm realizing, really, that's what the Reddit threads are talking about, where they're like, oh, they won't get because I'm nice, and then, oh no, we have a case study to back up their claims.
Well, I feel like it's different from, like, she's, like, pretending that she's, like, she was into him until she found out he was a nice guy, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
which
it's different from, like, oh, you're nice to a girl and you expect her to date you. It's like, no. She was into him. She was into the way he was treating her. She was
the fuckboy in this scenario. Yeah,
she was into, like, the way that the relationship was going until she found out that he thought of himself as a nice guy, basically.
Yeah, I think she wanted someone who was toxic, and then she was the one who changed him.
Yeah.
I see. So it was kind of like he thinks of himself as a nice guy.
She's like, no, it was like he just is a good guy. I just picked a nice guy.
I like assholes. Yeah.
She's like, I wanted him to be an asshole who, like,
so
was
weird.
nice to me.
Exactly.
Because, like, if you're at that point in the show, I feel like that's... When do they do the reveals? Like, is that, like, halfway through?
Halfway through, I'd say, like...
Maybe, like, you're getting the same amount of money, guaranteed anyways, if you, like, go with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no incentive other than, like, I guess, story, but at that point...
The thing I don't get about that concept of like, oh, I want someone who's like a bad guy or a bad boy. What's the expression?
Yeah. You want the
nice to
reformed
me.
bad boy.
Yeah, it's like, well, also it's like I feel like how someone treats other people is also like, I don't know, to me it's like if someone's nice to other people, then that's more attractive.
Yeah.
I don't get how people find it attractive that like they're rude to other people and like a dick, but then they're nice to you. I just don't get that concept.
Like I find if someone's like a really good friend, I'm like, oh, that's so fucking sexy of you. Like you're just so nice to your friends. Like you're just so like you're such a good person. I'm like, damn, that's so hot.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're like, oh, he's like mean to everyone, but he's really sweet to me.
Yeah,
It's
like I'm special because
fucking no.
bullies are gonna.
Do you guys think that like being like a dick all the time is like a form of social awkwardness?
I think it depends on like the way. Like I think you can be socially awkward and it comes off as you being a dick, but like
it's just you don't know how to interact with like.
I think it depends on the context because I feel like a lot of these F-boys on the show are just like very arrogant and then that's why they're a dick. But I think it depends because I think sometimes things that are like said as like socially rude, like rules, like social rules, like can come off as rude when it just might be someone like being a bit socially awkward. Because sometimes I feel like I accidentally do
like,
things that might be rude.
No, like I think
like the shit disturber kind of types that like kind of go out of their way to like.
No, I mean I don't think that's social awkwardness. I think that's someone being a dick. Like I think social awkwardness is like you don't fully. To me, it's like you don't fully understand the rules of like social interactions, so you can come across as being rude when like that's not your intention. Whereas like being a dick, I think is like you're actively trying to be rude at this point, like
because you think it's funny, because
for like whatever reason, or like you just don't give a shit.
Selfish.
Maybe you just don't care about people, so like you don't care if you come off as rude or nice. Like it doesn't matter to you, which a lot of girls will find really attractive because like, oh, he doesn't give a shit. Like he's just like so confident.
Cool. And they find out his credit score.
But I actually think it's like I think it's actually like they're probably not that confident if they feel the need to come off that way. It's almost like a defense mechanism. Like if they're rude to everyone, then they don't have to like get hurt or act like they care when someone's rude to them. Like to me, it seems like someone who's insecure would try to be more purposefully rude.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they actually are confident.
Like a crutch.
Sometimes come off. That way,
no, I agree. I think that's what they think, but.
Yeah, I know.
Or so like it's like a substitute for like a personality. Like it's like,
basically.
I'm just
so, like
a dick.
when Louisa, like that was like a final straw for me. I was watching the episode this morning when Louisa picked Mercedes over Benedict, who was like Benedict was like basically everything she wanted, but like she didn't like that he was a nice guy. I was like, so what you want is someone who's gonna gaslight you and have sex with you a lot and like not be like a good boyfriend and not be nice to you and manipulate you and then say, oh, I'll change and then not change. And then you just want to keep dating him and be in a toxic relationship. It's kind of what it feels like. When I saw her pick her out with him, I was like, so like he's hot. That's all that you have gathered. Because she also kept saying, oh, like Mercedes and I just have such like a sexual connection.
Do you think there's like
and that was all? Like they had no other thing.
Do you think there's like a like kind of like a clout to like maybe the girls think like, oh, I have to pick like the one that they think the audience at home is going to perceive as like the ultimate catch, like the hottest, sexiest, like coolest guy.
I think everyone like Benedict's better.
I think everyone.
But they don't know that when
they don't know that.
Yeah,
but,
true.
I would say, I'd say they probably don't want to look like an idiot, which is crazy. I honestly don't know. Okay, not to be like mean to women, but I think the women who are going on the show are not self-aware enough to like.
I don't think anyone on the show is self-aware enough.
Yeah, I know. I don't think anyone is. But I feel like
CJ
girls,
was self-aware.
CJ.
Yeah, right. Actually,
CJ.
The only reason that like I didn't like CJ's decision was because she didn't pick Casey. Like I understood the logic behind it. She's like, this guy's like a quote nice guy. Like it's a sure thing kind of vibe.
Okay.
Like I think she was sort of worried she couldn't trust CJ just based on like what had happened through the season, or Casey because of what had happened through the season and stuff. I don't think it was necessarily warranted, but on a show that's like built to fuck with your trust, I get why she might have been like scared. But yeah, I think most of the people on the show, it's like, oh, you're not thinking about anything other than like what you want right now.
Should we discuss the other characters?
Yeah, so then should we talk about Mia and Peter Park? I feel like Tamaris is the most tumultuous, so we'll talk about her last.
Yeah.
TT. My notes on Mia were pretty like short. I'm not surprised she picked Peter. He's the only one she liked. But like Danny was like the one who I feel like was offering her a future, and it was kind of the same thing with like Mia had two fuckboys, but one of them was like a fuckboy who was real emotionally invested in her, and one of them was a fuckboy who who was Peter.
Yeah, because I think he just knew that she had a crush on him and really used it to his advantage.
Yeah, she says in the last episode, and this is really telling of, like, this is how you know what decision they're going to make, is she said, Danny is what I need and Peter is what I want. And it's like, okay, so obviously you're going to pick Peter. Like, because Danny's who you think you need, because he's, like, in touch with his emotions and he's talking to you about, like, the problems you're having, which is, yeah, fair, all sexy shit. And he's offering, like, I want to, like, marry you at some point. I want to have a family. Like, I want to do these
Danny
things.
was really serious about her.
I think, to some extent, he might have come on a little too strong. Because, like, yeah, they're only there for 6 weeks. And the fact that he's like, oh, I want, like, marriage and a family and stuff like that so soon, like, about her specifically is a lot. But I also think it was fair of Danny to feel very betrayed when she didn't pick him, because she was saying, like, oh, I love you, like, I think I want to be with... Like, she was being very, like,
That's
I
so
also
cool.
really care about him. And she's, like, she's walking to... And Danny, like, saves face, like, when she picks Peter, he's, like, whatever she thinks is best for her is best for her, like, I can't do anything. And as she's walking out, he's, like, no, like, I feel fucking played by you, like... And she's, like, crying to him, and it's, like, yeah, don't ask him to comfort you when you just broke his heart. Like, I know it's sad for you, too, but, like, you made this decision. Stop asking him to be the one to, like, comfort you when he's just trying not to be a dick, like, leaving the show. He's like, no, like, you lied to me, like, you played me, like, blah, blah. Like, I think Danny was intense, but, like, I felt like Mia was kind of a dick in that moment. And I liked her more or less. Like, it was clear as the viewer that, like, Peter was the one she's gonna pick, right? I feel like that was pretty obvious. What did you think about the whole Mia, Peter, Danny?
Yeah, I felt like Danny was really invested, and yeah, I probably did come off too strong, like you were saying, but I was personally rooting for her to pick Danny, because it's just like, I don't know, especially how heartbroken he got at the end. It was just like, you could tell he really saw a future with her, whereas I just kind of got the vibe, like, even though Peter and her were cute, I also kind of felt like Peter ultimately was there for, like, the money and stuff, and, like, he just fed into the fact that he knew she had a crush on him, so he knew that if he dated her the whole show, she would choose him, and then they, like, didn't even, like, I don't even think they dated after the show.
I think they broke up pretty quickly after the show.
Yeah, and also, I remember one funny part, too, with Danny was, like, wasn't he the one who knew someone from Jersey Shore or something? And then it caused... Okay, I just remember because, like, oh, yeah.
I haven't heard about Jersey Shore in so long.
Yeah, so basically they have this other episode every season, which we forgot to mention, where they, like, go through their social media.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, so it's basically this episode where they sit down and they're like, so you know how in real life you could look at someone's social media and try to see if they're, like, an F-boy or nice guy. So we're giving you guys all their social media, and then it's just, like, they're just, like, scroll through each one's, like, Instagram and TikTok, which is
they can set their followers and whatnot?
Yeah, so that's also how they can discover, like, that's
the girlfriend?
How Garrett's girlfriend came up. Like, they run videos together.
Any guy who has a good social media, I automatically don't fully trust him. I'm like, why is your social media
like,
so
an artsy
good?
one is okay.
Well, I just don't like you if you have an artsy social media.
If there's, like, a lot of posts...
That's just, like, that's a side thing. I just won't really like you.
If you're just, like, an artsy boy, I feel like it works.
That's what I mean is, I just don't think I would like you.
I don't think it, like, makes you a douche. I think it makes you a douche if you're too into your Instagram.
If you have... Yeah.
Like, if you're
like,
just,
I'm a douche.
Like, if you're supposed to have a lot of photos of, like, you and the boys.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think, like, if you have a lot of really good quality photos of you on your Instagram, I don't trust you. If there's lots of photos of you and the boys, I don't care, as long as they're kind of shitty photos.
Okay, fair.
So then it's like, oh yeah, you're not, like, getting some, like, hot chick to be taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember that day started a lot in drama when they
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, because basically that's what started drama with, like, Mia and Danny, because he had a photo, like, with a friend at a wedding, and I think it was, like, a girl from Jersey Shore or something, or some similar reality show. And yeah, basically people, like, Mia was just, like, sus, like, oh, are you dating this girl, or, like, are you only here for clout because you're in a photo with someone from Jersey Shore or whatever. It's like, well, you all chose to date on a TV show, so I'm sure to some extent everyone is there for some sort of publicity.
I think everyone there is basically there for clout, but, like, also, it's kind of like Bachelor Advice. It's like, oh, if I find someone, that's nice, but, like, I'm here for clout.
Everyone's there for clout, but, like, don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
That's when you get called out.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Also, I just remembered one character we forgot to talk about. Oh. Lukesh. Or however you pronounce it.
Is he the one who, like, got kicked off, and then it was revealed he was a fuckboy, and then he kept saying, "I'm a nice guy."
No,
But that guy was hilarious.
Yeah, he was the one he was on season 2, and because he had seen season 1 and like the premise, he kind of like had this strategy going into it of like, I'm an F-boy, but I'm actually gonna like cosplay as a really awkward nice guy who's like only recently got my first kiss, like super inexperienced with girls.
I think he said he was a virgin or something.
It backfired because he was flirting with the Tamara girl.
Tamaris.
Yeah, Tamaris, who, well, we'll get to the twist. But anyway, she was not interested in a guy like that, and then it backfired, and it just ended up making him look really awkward in the end, because he got eliminated, embarrassed himself a little on TV, and then was like, I'm actually an F-boy.
Yeah, that was kind of hilarious.
But I thought he was a noteworthy character.
I liked the guy who, he was not American, I know that, because he spoke sort of like in a thick accent that I don't know what it was, but he basically, like, he gets kicked off pretty early. I think it's in season 2, but maybe I think it's in season 2. And they say, oh yeah, he was they say, reveal what you were, and he's like, a nice guy. And then Nikki Glaser's like, oh yeah, no, you're a fuckboy. And he's like, no, I'm a nice guy. And he like goes and they like try to take him to limbo. He's like, no, I'm a fucking nice guy. And then they literally show their like audition tapes of like him being like, I'm a fuckboy, like whatever. And
he's like just had a break.
He's just like, I don't like believe in these labels. Like, I am a nice guy. And it's
like,
okay,
that's not learning it all deep about society.
Well, what is a nice guy really?
Societal construct of F-boy and nice guy, but it's like, well, you had to choose one to come on the show.
So. What box did you check? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Should we get into the twist of season 1? I mean, season 2.
Oh yeah, we could talk about Tamaris, and then that leads into the twist.
Tamaris twist. Okay.
Yeah, so Tamaris is the third leading lady of the show. She's got the pink hair.
Yeah, I liked her from the moment I saw the pink hair.
And her final 2 were Casey, my boy Casey.
Back at it again.
And who was the other guy? Who was her final?
I assume she chooses Casey.
I don't know, probably some boring guy, because I don't remember either.
Casey and... I can't remember now. I don't know.
Oh, Nico.
Nico, that's it. Right, I mentioned him earlier. So her final 2 were Casey and Nico, and I even liked Nico. Both nice guys.
Okay.
So she had no risk, right?
Fancy.
And, like, they sort of were cute, too, because, like, it didn't seem like Casey and Nico really had beef. Like, they're both going for the same girl, but they didn't really have, like, any, like, fucking arguments the way, like, new Jared was like a dick to Casey. Like Nico was just like, yeah, like it's kind of awkward that like we're both trying to fuck the same girl, like whatever. And then should we talk about the twist of?
Yeah, should we talk about her character first?
Oh,
the twist, or
sure. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about her character pre the twist.
I just really liked her.
Yeah, okay.
She gave me that dose of CJ that I needed. Like she kind of reminded me of CJ. So I feel like you know, other fan faves came back like Casey and Peter, but we needed a CJ of the season, and I think that was Tamaris for us. I
mean, okay, CJ is objectively much better than Tamaris.
You'll get your chance.
She just, I feel like she just had those like fun, like hot energy.
Okay, do you want to explain what happens?
That's what I want in a character.
Do you want to explain what happens? Do you want me to tell them?
Whatever you prefer.
You can talk about it. I feel like I've been talking a lot. You tell us what happens at the end of season 2.
So basically, they all choose, like, same with season 1, where, like, they choose between the F-boy and the nice guy or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's Tamaris' turn, and she goes, I choose me. And then it's, like, this big grand reveal that she's actually an F-girl. Ooh!
So basically, before the picking ceremony, Nikki Glaser comes out and says, "Okay, this time you can pick to pick the guy and split the money. Like pick a nice guy, split the money. Pick an F boy, and he'll choose if you split the money, or you can pick to keep the $100K for yourself."
Fucking what? Why would you just not pick that?
And end your 2 relationships. And Tamaris at the end, like these guys, like are like pouring their heart out to 2 nice guys, like. Really into her, they're like absolutely obsessed, and she goes, "I pick me. Like I've been playing you guys."
That's fine. I liked it. Becca hated it. So
okay.
I prefer that to the bullshit of season 1 finale.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I think both finales were bullshit. I'm honestly like so pissed off. Because
But
the thing
wait,
is,
I like it only if like was it because she picked 2 nice guys
no.
that she? Oh, okay, that's stupid. It should be that
She just
it
wanted
because-
to choose herself and keep the money and be an F girl.
But like she has the opportunity to
she
do that
played it
because
off.
she had 2 nice guys.
Look, if she had
No, it was just a twist on season 2 in general.
No,
all the girls
okay.
got to choose.
all the girls got to choose. The thing is, if she
Oh.
played it off like, I actually just don't think I have a connection with either of you, I'm going to keep the money, I'd be like, that's fine, that's one thing. But like, she's like, oh, like I was playing you the whole time, I've been an F girl the whole time. I'm like, bitch, there are no stakes for you. There are no stakes for you being a fuck girl to these people. You don't get kicked off the show if you're being a fuck girl. It's not like this feminist ending that they think it is, that she's a fuck girl, like girls can be fuck girls. We all know girls can fuck around too. That wasn't something that was like new to me. I was like, if you want to gender swap it for the season, that's fine. But the fact that she had no stakes for it and everyone's like, yeah, like, I'm so proud of you for doing this.
Did they know that they were gonna have the opportunity to do that? Or they
No.
found out? So then what
That's
the
the
fuck?
other
How
thing,
is
it's
she
like,
playing the game?
She's playing it off like, oh, I've been playing you guys. And it's like, okay, except for
That's
that you
kinda
didn't
creepy.
know that you would get this choice.
Mhm.
So basically what she's saying is she was picking 2 nice guys because she knew that she'd get 50 grand either way. I think is what she's trying to say.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I did kind of wonder if it was like kind of like that part was a bit staged by producers.
Oh, fair.
Because kind of in a similar way where like Casey got to escape because it would make the show better, because they did show like flashbacks of her giving hints that she was an F girl all along. She was like, I told you guys, and then it would show flashbacks of her saying how she like cares more about money than a relationship or things like that.
Nico asked her what she makes her get out of bed in the morning, and she said money.
Oh,
And
okay.
she literally said, oh, I've cheated before. And she said, oh, I've told so many guys that I love them when, like, I don't give a shit about them.
Yeah.
And, like, stuff
I
like
like
that.
I liked the twist ending because it was just like a fun, juicy little surprise. And
No, I think
And-
it's fun.
yeah, and I like too because it's like obviously, and I understand it's different when they're the main characters and the guys are the contestants, but I thought it was kind of fun how they made it like, oh, you can also choose to be an F girl and keep the money just like the F boys can.
I think
I know it's like different stakes, but
I
just thought it was
just
a fun
think
little
like
twist.
it's not that I had a problem. I don't have a problem with her being an F girl and keeping the money. I don't have a problem with her keeping the money. I don't have a problem with the option of her keeping the money being on the table. I think that all makes sense. What I have a problem with is the fact that she had no like she didn't have to play any game.
Yeah.
Like they all like I hated Garrett, but I respected that he could play. He played the game. Like they're all like, oh, mad respect. Like you played the game. Even Casey's like, I'm really heartbroken, but I have to tip my hat. She played. I was like, no, you didn't. Like you did. You fucked with these people, but you didn't actually have to. It's like you're this sick, twisted person who decided it would be fun to fuck with these 2 people, and then like I'll get some money at the
I
end.
will say.
She didn't even know she was
She gave us the entertainment we came for.
Like it just
Yeah.
pissed me off so much, and like it's just.
I feel like you also love Casey, so you were hurt on his behalf,
I was really hurt on
and it
his
makes
behalf.
it way heavier on your
It
heart.
definitely weighs heavier. I just like I didn't like if she had said like, oh, I just want to keep the money, I actually decided I don't really like either of them, that would have been one thing. I would have been like, that's kind of like iconic, that's hilarious. But like her trying to play it off like she's been playing them and she like knew that it's like, I believe that you were only there for the money, but like I don't believe that you played any sort of strategic smart game. I think you kind of liked these guys and you strung them along for as long as like they were there, and then we're like, oh, I can keep the money, okay, I'm just gonna keep it all.
I think like I noticed that too with these types of shows, which is part of the reason why like I feel like it's just like sometimes there's so much missed opportunity because they're so like weird and like weirdly relaxed about like the rules of the game, really, because I guess it's not really a game show, it's a reality show, but it's like when
It's
you
also
do
kind of
things
a game
like
show.
yeah, but like yeah, exactly, like there is money, like there does need to be some like
There's like an incentive for people to be a
Consist-
part of it, basically.
so like see, like I would think it's fine, like I think it's a fun twist if it's like, oh, because you've played it safe and have chosen 2 nice guys and like securing yourself $50,000, then you have the option, because it's kind of like
yeah,
either you're we'll have 3 nice guys together in a love triangle. No, like let's put a fuckboy in it. Some like that makes them. I get that, but I feel like it's weird if they all got to choose if to keep the money.
yeah,
or
like
not.
they all got to choose it, and I don't even mind that the twist was they all got to choose it. Again, like if one of them picked to keep the money, that's fine by me. But I just hated the way she played it up, and I hated the way that the show was like, oh, like so feminist of her to be a fuck girl. I'm like, no, it's not. Like it's just
Well,
like another person being terrible to another person. It's not like it's not like cute because like you're a woman and
Yeah.
usually women don't do this. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
I hate that shit.
2022. Women are fuck girls all the time now. Well, it was 2022 in the show. It's actually 2022. But like, you know what I mean? Like, women are fuck girls all the time. That's not like a new phenomenon.
also-
And they're like, oh, it's just like so good to see. I'm like, no, fucking, it's not.
Well, I also don't like when it's like feminism is like, oh, it's feminism to treat boys as shitty as like boys sometimes treat girls, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, like we should just aspire to all be nice to each other.
Like, both of the nice guys that she had, they're just like, wow, like she really fucking played me. Like, Casey's like collecting himself at the end, and he's like, I don't want to. Nikki's like, do you want to say anything? And he's like, well, I don't really want to. I want to collect myself. I don't want to say something I'll regret in like the heat of the moment. And Nikki's like, we would like it if you did. And I'm like, fucking like this guy. Both of these guys, like, I felt bad for both of them. They both are like, got like actually were invested in this relationship. It felt like, and you're like, oh, she just like does not give a shit. I mean, like, and her like the difference is like they had no reason not to trust that she was there for. Like, it'd be one thing if like they knew that this could happen, but like they had no reason not to trust that she was there for the right reasons. Like, and she was saying like, I want something real, like blah blah blah. And so it's like, fucking, I was so mad. I was so mad at like, yeah, just the way they're like, oh, like, look, it's like iconic because like she treated him as badly as he could have treated her, and it's like, but he wasn't. Like, maybe if she was like getting hers on like 2 fuckboys that she had picked, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's great, like good for you. She got hers on 2 guys who were like, to quote, nice guys, and actually seemed to not be like that shitty. I was so mad.
Yeah.
I so fucking mad. It's just so stupid. It's just like, I have no respect for that kind of a gameplay.
I do agree that I felt bad for like the people who got their hearts broken like in both seasons, but I just feel like when I watch a reality show, I'm here for the chaos and entertainment, and it just stirred up a lot of chaos at the end that I liked. And I also just really like her character in general. Like, she's just like the sassy, fun one. Like, I want to be friends with her in real life. Like, same vibe as Casey, you know, where I want to be friends with them.
So you're like watching the shows.
No.
So I was gonna ask. So you watch the shows then more for like. I feel like it's like you just watching like chaos unfold, and you're just like you want to see everyone react to like everything being thrown at them. You like if it's random.
Yeah,
that's,
like for
totally
example,
fair,
with the twist in season 1 where the money went to charity instead of Garrett, it's like, yeah, it was unfair in the sense that like Garrett played the game correctly, so he should have won the money. But I love the chaos it caused. Okay. You know.
Okay. So, for me, in order for a show to be satisfying, I need to feel like the end, like it's been earned. Like I think since,
but it's a reality show. Like it's never gonna like
no, but I think
fulfill an actual like story.
No, but reality shows do that all the time. Like most of the reality dating shows, and that's why I watch reality dating shows is because they always fulfill some sort of a story arc by the end. Okay. Like so, like I like the completion of the story.
So it's more like the rom-com aspect of like seeing.
Like I don't need to see the rom-com aspect of it. I need to see a completion of a story arc that's interesting and feels like a satisfying end. Like when I was watching the first season, it's like, yeah, obviously I don't want her to pick Garrett. The most satisfying ending would be for her to pick a different guy and get to split the money with him. But like since she picked Garrett, since she made that choice, then all of a sudden the satisfying ending for me becomes, okay, well he gets to keep the money because that's how the game is played. Like, don't change up the rules. In your first season of the show, don't change up the rules of the game. Like, do that, like, in season 5. Like,
I do agree that they should have held the twist until later on.
Yeah. And, like, same up. Yeah. And, like, same with season 2. It's, like, it's not that, like, I have a problem with, like, an F-girl being put into the show. It's that, like, what would make it interesting is if you know from the start, or the girls could fuck you over. Like, if you sort of say something like once you get there, or like midway through, that like the girls could fuck you over and do this, then it's like, okay, well now there's like there's like stakes. Like now the guys have like reason to like pause and be worried about like X, Y, and Z. It's like if you're gonna make it that like she's gonna be a fuck girl at the end, at least like show like put something in the show earlier to like show us that like it's gonna be a satisfying end if she does fuck them over. Because like having it at the very last episode in the very last 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm not satisfied that she did this. I've just watched the show and been like watching it normally, and then like, oh yeah, she just decided to be a fuck girl at the end, basically, is what it felt like.
The Deus Ex Machina. It's like they just like and then you wrap it up like this.
Yeah,
it was all a dream.
I need like some sort of satisfying like closure to it. Like I needed to have this bomb dropped way earlier in the show, or like reveal that like they told the girls on day one, you have the option to keep all the money, and then she could play it off like I've been a fuck girl the whole time, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine, and we only found out at the end, so we had to watch it and like sort of wonder.
Yeah.
But like to tell them on the last day and then to play it off like I've been playing you the whole time, like that's what pissed me off.
It's like retconning a bit.
It's like, oh yeah, I've been doing, yeah, it's like you just retcon it. It's like, no, like you didn't know that this was going to be an option for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if she was playing them the whole time, it's like, no, like you didn't know that this, and like still there were no stakes for her. Like there were no, like she couldn't get kicked off the show.
Well, it's feminist because they're just giving women $100,000.
Yeah.
Or to charity.
Well, basically, and then I was like, okay, fine. You know what? She's an F girl. She chose to keep all the money, but then they're praising her for it. And so
But why can't they just be that? Oh, your money goes to
your
charity.
money goes to charity too. Fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, if you're gonna screw the guy who won the last season over, screw her over too. Because you know what? Like, it's just as bad to be a fuck girl as it is to be a fuck boy.
So, what would you say the overall message is of FBoy Island?
I think hot take.
Yeah, hot takes. Let's do hot takes.
It's okay to be an F girl or F boy.
I
Because
also
they're
think
honest
that.
about it.
I think, yeah, as long as
you're
you're having
honest about
honest,
it.
consensual
I think-
relationships, do whatever you want.
I think the way the show presents fuck girl and fuck boy is like basically you are like fucking with someone's emotions, whereas like in reality, when I think of a fuck boy or a fuck girl, I'm like, oh, they just have a lot of like sex with random girls and they don't want a
See, I
relationship.
think, is it like, so I've had it like, I think like there's like a player is like someone who is sexually active with people and will have casual sex. And then a fuckboy, is a fuckboy just like also a player, or does it imply that you're like an asshole about it?
Like I think a fuckboy is like someone who has a lot of like sexual relationships, and maybe they are an asshole about it.
Okay.
But like I also don't think they. In my head, a fuckboy is not someone who like they're toying with your emotions. They just like
It's
they
like
want to
they're
have
walking the
sex with
line.
you, and they don't want a
Yeah.
relationship with you, and they're not gonna like. They're never gonna give that to you, and like maybe
What if they leave you on though? Is that being a fuckboy, or is that just being like an asshole?
I like it could be. I think it's both. Like I think it's very like it depends on how you play it. Like if you're a fuckboy who just like if you just like have sex with lots of different people and like you don't want a relationship and that's fine. Like I think that's totally fine.
Mhm.
I think it's when you start like toying with their like
Yeah.
emotions, like leading them on. I'm like, okay, well that's kind of fucked up of you. Like that's not okay. It's like when you're playing
Just, like,
with
be
someone's
clear.
heart. I think that's very like that's where I draw the
Yeah.
line. But I think it's fine to just be like a hoe.
Yeah, totally.
Basically, it's like you could be a hoe, and girls can do it, and boys can do it, and that's fine. But like, don't lead them on.
Yeah, just don't.
It's not that hard.
Be an asshole.
Don't be a
nice to
psychopath
each other.
and decide to be fun to make someone fall in love with you, and then be like, haha, I was playing you. I don't give a shit. Which is
Yeah.
what this show portrays fuckboys and fuckgirls
Do you
as.
think
It's like,
there's, legit psychopaths on these shows?
well, like she literally said, I'll tell guys like I love them just so that like they'll have sex with me or do things for me. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you kind of sound like a psychopath.
Yeah.
She did say that at one point. It was this
Yeah.
true why.
You're like,
That's not great. I didn't remember that when I was saying how I love her.
I think it's
Like I think
don't
I
know.
get
love
why you would
villains all
love
the
her from
time.
like the chaos
Yeah.
perspective.
I
Like, she
think
definitely
just, like,
brought
the
a lot of
pink
crazy
hair.
energy.
Like,
She
just
just
from
adds
the moment I
stuff.
saw her with pink hair, it was like, oh,
You knew she
Oh,
was
that's
gonna be
like-
I
crazy.
don't know. And it's probably like the pretty privilege as well of like she's just like really good looking, and then you
Yeah.
kind of like overlook character flaws.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. So, she's hot enough to do that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, my only hot takes were like I kind of said it, but Sarah deserved to get swindled out of that 100K. Garrett deserved to keep the money. None of the guys are nice guys.
What charity do you think it went to?
I don't know. Fuck
Because
girl charity.
they never like announced it, and I'm like, did
HBO's.
they actually give it?
I think they said it was a charity of Sarah's choosing, so like Sarah just could pick.
But you know
which
what's kind of sus though is like I think they can just donate that and then write it off as a tax write-off.
one. Oh yeah.
So it like
Oh,
benefits the show. in the
My
end.
what is my other hot take is that
We actually never had $100,000.
the show deserved to be canceled after the stupid plot twist choices they made in season 1 and 2. Even though I'm
I see a
sad.
hot take there that we're gonna also disagree on.
Oh, Nikki Glaser was kind of annoying as a host. I don't think she's that funny. She had
I
her
like her.
moments. I thought she had her moments. Like there were parts where I was like, "Oh, you're really funny," but overall, like watching her do especially doing the finales where I feel like you have to do the more sincere portion, she was so bad at it. Like I hated watching her try to do the sincere stuff. It was so cringy and not in a fun way.
Okay.
I liked that it felt like she would constantly, like, I don't know, make kind of, like, cheesy jokes, because it felt like it was kind of, like, meta of, like, making fun of, like, how reality TV shows work. Like, it's, like, I don't know, she'd be, like, kind of, like, cheesy or, like, have dry humor during, like, parts that are supposed to be dramatic.
Okay, yeah.
And it just kind of was nice, because it's almost like she's kind of laughing at the situation with you.
No, like, I think a lot of it, her humor worked. I think for a lot of the show, it did work. It just, every so often, it's like, you also need to know how to play this side of the show. Like, and I felt like she didn't know how to play this sincere drama
like
side of the show.
Like the audience-facing one and, like, the contestant-facing
It's like, yeah, like, I think, like, it makes sense for her to be, like, dry and funny and cheesy. I thought this was all really good. But there's just, like, parts of the show where it's like, okay, this is where you need to play into this, like, seriousness of the show in order to make it, like, more entertaining for the viewer to watch, and I don't think she could do that.
Like, camp it up.
Like, I don't think she could take anything seriously, which is why it was hard for me to watch her with some of the hosting sessions.
Okay. I actually loved how unserious it was, because I feel like, compared to other hosts, like, for example, the guy who hosts Temptation Island, I do love Marky Mark in his own way. He seems like a very sweet man, but he takes these plots, like, so serious. Like, he's so invested in everyone's emotions and relationships, which is, like, he seems like a sweetheart, but I kind of love how Nikki Glaser just, like, doesn't take it seriously, because when I'm watching a show, I feel like, like, I don't really take it seriously, so it's, like, just kind of jokes.
I don't want her to take it seriously all the time. Like, I think the show is mostly jokes.
There
were just, like, a few scenes where I was, like, I feel like your, like, weird, cheesy jokes do not fit here. Like, if you just, like, came in, said your line, and left, I think that would fit, because we don't really need this commentary right now. Like, especially, like, in the high-stakes drama scenes, I find what makes them more entertaining to me is when, like, everyone in the show is taking it really serious, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, why do they care so much
would help,
about this?
like, people open up a little bit more if you're, like, also getting melodramatic.
Yeah. So, like,
I don't know, depends how much of that
sometimes I was like,
do.
match the vibe. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, one or two scenes I would feel like in the entire season where I was like, no, match this vibe to make it more entertaining, and then the rest of the time, be funny and sarcastic, because it is working. Like, people like it, and they know that the show's kind of a joke.
Was there, like, deep moments in the show? Like, serious stories?
They fought.
Not really. I remember one time Nikki Glaser got semi-deep for 2.5 seconds when discussing, like, Benedict, who was one of the, that she was dating, or he was dating Louisa, in season 2.
Louisa, who knows?
Yeah, because Benedict was a comedian, and then she was just talking about, oh, my worry is that if he, like, goes on shows, like, if he's an F-boy, is he gonna, like, hook up with other girls, whatever. Right. And so then she was talking about her being a comedian, and then she just started talking about how, like, men who are comedians get treated differently than women who are comedians, like, in terms of dating. Yeah, like, a lot of girls like men comedians, but she was saying it's not the same as a girl dating.
Like, girls like a funny guy.
That got deep for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then season 3 got canceled.
Really?
Yeah.
The show got canceled.
Yeah.
I can't
I
imagine
hope
why.
it comes back one day.
Because of those stupid plot twists.
Well, it's gonna be Fuck Girl Island next.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Fuck Girl Island would also be fun to watch.
That'd be a fun spin-off.
Because, like,
how easy it would be to, like, manipulate the guys into
my god,
that would be so much
easy.
crazier.
That's the thing, is I feel like it would almost be too easy for the girls to manipulate the guys.
I feel like it would just be, there'd be too many, the guys would just be flipping back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah, they could, like, they should come back and do resurgence with, like, different spin-offs, like F Girl Island. They could have an F non-binary island.
Oh.
Two different directions. Grandpa Island.
The third gender old person reality show. I think it'd just be honestly sweet. I think you'd either get, like, really, like, misogynistic, like, old men, or, like, really sweet old men that are, like, gonna open the car door for you and, like, take you to a nice dinner.
The joke is, like, who is it? Like, Gabby's grandpa or whatever should be the Bachelor or something. They're like Bachelor Seniors Edition.
F Grandpa.
Fuck Grandpa Island.
Yeah. It could be like Gilf Island.
Gilf Island, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you guys find out about FBoy Island?
I saw an advert on Instagram.
I think so too, actually.
I saw an advert on Instagram and I immediately sent it to you and Max. Was like, we have to watch this show.
Yeah.
This will be hilarious. Please tell me it's real.
Do you guys go back and rewatch it?
Well, I rewatched a couple episodes for this
episode,
but
But rewatching in general, I've probably given it a couple of watches over the years. I will sometimes go back and rewatch reality shows.
I'm not a big fan of rewatching reality shows.
Okay.
I feel like with reality shows, I'm already barely watching when I watch it. So if I rewatch it, it's like I'm as interested as I was the first time, which is like I want to make fun of it in a group setting, and that's about it.
Yeah. I think the one fun thing for me with my memory issues on account of my concussion history is that I forget a lot of things, including like what happens in shows. So I'm able to rewatch my favorite reality shows a lot of times, and I'll like forget little pieces.
I think it's crazy. I can't remember like what I had for breakfast, but I can remember like specific details from like TV shows I watched 10 years ago. Like my memory is like, oh, what did you do yesterday? I don't fucking know. Whoa, what happened in like this one episode of like Boy Meets World that you watched when you were 9 years old? Oh, yeah, I can tell you exactly what happened. Like it's just like wild. Like for some reason, TV shows like the memory is just there. The core memories are stuck.
Yeah.
But
I can remember the exact plot twists that got you riled up in season 2.
Oh boy,
Should never forget.
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. I really liked the show too until they. Just like when I was like writing my notes for it, I realized, oh, you just like fumbled the ball like fumbled the bag both times. That's the word.
The ball.
Fumbled the ball. Yeah, that's also a thing. You could fumble the ball.
He's a soccer player from Argentina.
Yeah, you're Argentinian.
Number 10.
Number 10. Who's that?
No, I don't know. I got this for $4.99 at Value.
Bold of me to assume that you knew sports.
Oh yeah, do you want to plug in Depop?
Oh, sure. If you liked me on this show.
If you liked Alexis on this show and you like her style and you think that she'll do a good job picking out your style, we know she does. Please don't forget to follow her at
Cyberdoll Vintage on Depop. Also, I do have a YouTube Cyberdoll Vintage. I don't actually post videos or anything, but I've just been cross-posting my shorts. So you could put it in the description.
So we'll put the link
yeah.
to her YouTube in the description. So,
yeah. But like ours first, but then you can
and comment on us, and then you can go look at her.
Just thrift hauls and stuff and all that good jazz.
Yeah.
I know our
I'd
listeners
like
like
to
that
see
shit. If you listen to this episode, how can you not be interested in this?
I think thrifting and reality TV show overlaps in a lot of people's hearts.
I think,
and minds and souls.
I mean, yeah, probably.
This was wonderful.
Larissa, take us away. Outroduce us.
Well, thank you very much for listening to another episode of Don't Read Into It. This is our guest, Alexis Royce. Thanks for coming on. This has been a very insightful discussion, getting to know the ins and outs of FBoy Island. Yeah, we can read it.
That's okay. Larissa,
she almost made it through the whole podcast.
I'll start again. Larissa, outroduce us. Do you want to start again? English speaking.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of Don't Read Into It with our lovely guest, Alexis Royce, where we dissected the ins and outs of FBoy Island. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, to like our videos on YouTube, and to keep listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening right now.
If you don't, we'll take your $100,000 and donate it to charity.
Yeah, and a stunning twist of events.
Plot twist!
All your money and all your work, it doesn't matter. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.